Who's going down, guys? TalkNorwichCity here, back for another Norwich City daily news video. The series where I bring you all of the latest Norwich City news in one concise video, so you don't have to go trawling the internet to find your fix for the day. Anyway, lots of news today. We are approaching the managerial merry-go-round part of the season where we're probably going to be appointing a new head coach within the next couple of weeks. Loads of names are cropping up. Most of them names I don't even know who they are. We've also got some transfer rumours and we've got a few other bits and bobs. So let's start with the transfer rumours. Now this is all coming from the journalist Nick Masheter. Now Nick Masheter is the man who's pretty much got everything nailed on since Stuart Webber has come in terms of the staff that's been leaving, Stuart Webber actually coming into the club, the things Stuart Webber have been doing, the players that have been released. This man has links to the football club, and yesterday he released two bits of news. The first one of them being that Norwich are ready to sell Yannick Vilsgut just 5 months after signing him for £7 million. Now, I'm really disappointed to see this news, I must admit, because I feel that I'm one of the few players that does genuinely believe that Yannick Vilsgut has some kind of value to this football team. I think he's something a lot different to what we've currently got. I think he's physical, he's got goals in him, he scored in the Championship, he scored for us. I know he's only been one goal. He hasn't really been given a chance, and I feel like it's unfair to criticise Yannick Vilsgut for what he's done, because look, he hasn't played too many games. I think one of the games where everyone got a bit frustrated with him was when we went away to Wigan, and he was dreadful. But he was being booed the whole game. It was very early on in his career. It was a Tuesday night. I think it's harsh to judge Yannick Vilsgut on what we've seen of him so far. Now, it might be a case that whoever the new manager comes in doesn't want him. Fair enough. But I think it's very unfair for us to just get rid of him now because he hasn't had a good 6 games or whatever he's played in. I think it's almost he's a bit of a scapegoat in this current recruitment policy that the previous recruitment policy that we had that didn't work. And I think Yannick Vilsgut is kind of the scapegoat of all of that. In terms of some other news, Marley Watkins, who we reported on, the former Barnsley player, Nick Masheter says he's virtually done, so that's good. And the other bit of news is that Michael McGovern is apparently going to be going to Rotherham on a loan deal, which kind of indicates that we are either going to be putting Declan Rudd in as first choice goalkeeper, or we're going to be signing another goalkeeper. I would have thought the former of that, Declan Rudd, will probably be the first choice goalkeeper next season, or at least at the moment that's what it's going to be looking like. So a bit disappointed with that Yannick Vilsgut news. In terms of the Marley Watkins, I think that's very positive. I think a free transfer, low wages, done well in the Championship last season. It's all good news for that. And the Michael McGovern stuff, look, I don't think he's good enough to be at Norwich City, so shift him out into League One. I don't think we're going to be seeing him much more in Norwich City colours. Now, let's move on to the head coach part. Jens Keller, that is the name that's been thrown up over the last couple of days. This all came about when his odds just plummeted and it was suspended for a short amount of time. So we are basically looking at the bookies here. Of course, the bookies' odds are always kind of go up and down depending on how much money is placed on them odds. So Uwe Rosler and David Wagner have obviously been linked. As well as that, there's been a few other names, but they're kind of the two at the moment. Now, of course, Huddersfield got to the playoff final after incredibly beating Sheffield Wednesday. So unless Huddersfield lose in the final, I don't think it's going to be David Wagner. And it's a bit annoying because if we were going for Wagner and expecting them to lose to Sheffield Wednesday, it now delays that whole process by another couple of weeks. So, look, I think that we're going to be wanting to appoint a new head coach within the next 10 days. I don't think it's going to be David Wagner now. Uwe Rosler, look, that's a possible link. But Stuart Webber did say that, look, he could be going into the European market. Now, I don't think this is going to be a European-wide search that ended up us getting Neil Adams a few years ago. I think this is a genuine search into the European market, and the Union Berlin boss, Jens Keller, is the man who could be linked. Now, he started off at 40 to 1. He dropped down to something like 4 to 1. The betting was suspended, and I think he's now gone back onto the market at about 8 to 1. So could it be Jens Keller He's the man who took Schalke into the Champions League. He's now contracted at Union Berlin until 2018. Look, he looks like a top manager, and I don't think anyone would be moaning if we did go on to get Jens Keller, but who knows? We are simply looking at the bookies at the moment, so there hasn't really been a sure kind of name at the moment. I don't think Norwich probably know. I'm sure there's a short list, but in terms of a sure, certain name, there isn't one at the moment. So Uwe Rosler, David Wagner, Jens Keller, there's a few other European names about, who knows, it could be one of them. A few other little bits of news. Grant Holt basically doesn't know what he's going to be doing. He wants to be playing more football, but he's not too sure what club that's going to be at just yet. He obviously was released by Hibs, and he did also say in an interview with Michael Bailey, of course the EDP's Michael Bailey, that he doesn't rule out a return to Norwich City in terms of coaching, but he would probably like to play a couple more seasons of football. I think he might be going to Kings Lynn Town. That would be incredible if he did. Of course, Ian Culverhouse, currently their manager. Local, still living in Norwich, Kings Lynn would be the club for him. And finally, the pre-season fixtures have been announced. It literally feels like the season finished last week, and it pretty much did. But the pre-season fixtures are already out. We've got an away game at Lowestoft. Let's hope that isn't called off like last year due to rain. We've got Stevenage away, we've got Cambridge away, we've got Charlton away, and we've got Brighton and Hove Albion at home. And it also says that the pre-season tour will be announced very soon. Now, who knows where that will be? I'm hoping it might be Iceland. I'm hoping. I'd love to go to Iceland. I'd love to take you guys along with me. But that's all of the news today. I suppose it's all about the transfer news and also the head coach. Who do you think will be the new head coach? And also, are you disappointed to possibly be seeing Yannick Wilschke on his way out after just 5 months at the football club? Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Peace out.